The Galactic Academy's pristine corridors had never witnessed anything quite like Susan Martinez. She was the first human admitted to the prestigious institution, a curiosity from Earth, a planet the Galactic Council had classified as a Class 12 Deathworld. Her presence alone made the other students nervous. Lucas Chen, her human companion and the only other Terran on campus, sat 3 rows behind her in advanced xenobiology. He noticed the Vraxian student, Krell, sliding something metallic under Susan's desk. Lucas's jaw tightened. He knew what was coming. The device activated with a barely audible hum. It was a neural disruptor, illegal in 17 systems, designed to incapacitate most sentient species instantly. Krell and his friends had been harassing Susan for weeks, unable to accept that a primitive Deathworlder had scored higher than them on every examination. Susan's head snapped up. Her nostrils flared. Lucas watched as her pupils dilated, a predatory response hardwired into human biology. The other students, oblivious to the attack, continued taking notes on Professor Thexenar's lecture about symbiotic relationships in low-gravity environments. "You smell that?" Susan whispered, her voice carrying an edge that made Lucas's own adrenaline spike. She wasn't asking him. She was announcing it. The neural disruptor's frequency increased. Krell's translator implant picked up his whispered words to his accomplices. "Watch her collapse. Deathworlders aren't so tough." But Susan didn't collapse. Instead, she stood slowly, deliberately. Her movements were fluid, economical, the result of growing up in Earth's crushing gravity. To the alien students, it looked almost supernatural. "Miss Martinez, please remain seated during," Professor Thexenar began. But his words died as Susan reached under her desk and crushed the neural disruptor with her bare hand. The device, made from reinforced titanium carbide alloy, crumpled like paper. The classroom went silent. Every alien eye fixed on the human girl who had just destroyed military-grade hardware with casual pressure. "That was supposed to incapacitate me," Susan said, her voice steady. "On Earth, we call this Tuesday." Krell stood, his chitinous plates rattling in what Lucas recognized as Vraxian aggression display. "You dare!" He lunged at Susan with speed that would have impressed a combat instructor. But humans, Lucas knew, possessed something the galaxy had never encountered. Persistence predator reflexes honed over millions of years of chasing down prey across African plains. Susan sidestepped. Her hand shot out, grabbing Krell's primary arm. She didn't strike him. She didn't need to. She simply held him in place, her grip unyielding despite his struggles. "I don't want to hurt you," Susan said calmly, "but I've been dealing with bullies since I was 6 years old on a planet where the atmosphere is borderline toxic to most species, where we have predators that can crush bones with their jaws, and where our own weather systems can level cities. You're going to sit down." That's when the security cameras shut off. All of them. Simultaneously. Lucas saw Professor Thexenar's communicator light up with emergency alerts. The Academy's AI security system had detected a catastrophic threat event and initiated emergency protocols. What it had actually detected was Susan's biometric readings, heart rate, muscle tension, chemical signatures, all within normal parameters for a human experiencing mild annoyance, but interpreted by alien sensors as a prelude to extreme violence. The classroom doors sealed automatically. Emergency response teams would arrive in minutes, armed for a full-scale security breach. "Oh no," Lucas muttered, standing up. He knew what this looked like from the outside. A Deathworld predator attacking a student. Systems failing, possible hostage situation. This would end with Susan being expelled or worse. But then something unexpected happened. Every student in the class stood up. The Matharian twins, usually timid. The elderly Quarian scholar. Even the Crystalline Shard collective that rarely engaged with carbon-based life forms. They formed a loose circle around Susan and Krell. "We saw what happened," said Vera, one of the Matharian twins, her voice translator crackling with determination. "Krell attacked first. Susan defended herself. That device, we all know what it was." Professor Thexenar's bioluminescent patches flickered with what Lucas had learned to recognize as distress. "The security footage is gone. The Academy board will want someone to blame. They'll say the human lost control." "Then we all testify," said the Quarian, his translator rendering his deep rumbles into galactic standard. "Every one of us. We tell them what happened." Lucas felt something shift in the room's atmosphere. These weren't just students protecting a classmate. They were making a choice about what kind of galaxy they wanted to live in. Susan released Krell, who stumbled backward, his bravado completely evaporated. She looked around at her classmates with an expression Lucas knew well. Gratitude mixed with the bone-deep loneliness of being perpetually underestimated. "Why?" Susan asked quietly. "You barely know me. Your government's classified my world as too dangerous for standard contact protocols." The Shard Collective chimed, their crystalline voice hauntingly beautiful. "Because we've watched you for 3 months. You study harder than anyone. You help those who struggle. You ask questions that make our professors think differently. And today, when you had every right to retaliate with the violence your world bred into your species, you chose restraint. That is not the action of a monster. That is the action of someone we're proud to call colleague." When the security teams breached the doors 2 minutes later, weapons charged and ready for a Deathworld rampage, they found something that would be discussed in academy halls for generations. Every student in the class standing in peaceful solidarity, with the human girl at the center, calm and collected. The investigation took 3 days. Without security footage, it relied entirely on witness testimony. Every student told the same story. Krell was expelled for using illegal weaponry. The Academy's AI system was recalibrated to properly interpret human biometrics. And Susan Martinez? She graduated top of her class 4 years later. But more importantly, she proved something the galaxy desperately needed to learn. Being from a death world didn't make you a monster. It made you resilient, adaptive, and when given the chance, an invaluable friend. Lucas watched her acceptance speech as class valedictorian and smiled. Humans, he thought, were going to do just fine among the stars.